日本時間11月14日、MLB が今シーズンの MVP とサイ・ヤング賞の受賞者を発表しました。ナショナルリーグの MVP は大谷翔平選手。アメリカンリーグ MVP はアーロン・ジャッジ選手でした。両者とも2年連続の MVP で歴史に残るシーズンを送りました。いかに2人が優れているのか MLB ネットワークで語られました。その様子を日英字幕でご紹介します。
Congratulations to Aaron Judge, second straight and third in the last 4 seasons. He wins the batting title, 331, 53 homers, and 114 runs batted in. Just unbelievable what he was able to do, and he did fight through that injury to his elbow, which limited him to DHing duty. But what we saw as we got word about this is how close the vote was in the end. The talk all season, especially in the second half. Judge against Raleigh, and Cal came real close.
Yeah, he did, and I'm not going to lie, I was on the Cal Raleigh train, for multiple reasons. Like a lot of former players were in regards to the fact what he's doing behind the plate. But look, when you look at Aaron Judge and look at the offensive numbers, and when you put them side by side, man, it really just jumps off the page, especially too when you're talking 100 plus points in all these different categories. But again, just before we do get to Aaron Judge, man, you got to give it up for Cal Raleigh. What a historical year.
No doubt about it, right? You talked about it yesterday, Peeves, what he's got to do just to prepare. 1 hour with the hitters, 1 hour with the pitchers, full load on his plate, and he came oh so close to winning MVP.
Well, yeah, you're sitting here surrounded by 2 pitchers who understand the utmost importance of the catcher position, who was our battery mate getting us through games. So to have that perspective, we certainly bridge the gap. But it comes down to Aaron Judge being too good offensively. He is so much better than even the next best in the league that it warrants this type of success and awards. So Aaron Judge is what Sean Casey said, the complete hitter. He hits for power, and we know that, but he led the league in batting. The most complete hitter we have in the league today is Aaron Judge, MVP and well-deserved.
Greg, I love the fact, too. I mean, he said he prides himself on being that complete hitter, too. It's easy when you're his stature, his size, to say, you know what, I'm just going to lean heavily into, the power numbers. But the fact he's winning batting titles, too, there was just too much of a gap, in my opinion, looking at this, because I said it all year long, covering the Mariners. Okay, if Cal can get to X amount of home runs, if he can, you kept trying to justify, but, man, just some of the offensive numbers, you just can't look past that.
My hat's off to the writers for it being that close, because offensively, in the metrics that we had around Judge, I didn't know that we would truly appreciate the catcher position as we have, but a bunch of senior writers and some new writers seem to appreciate that really tight draw.
Closest vote we've had in several years. We'll get into the particulars of that a little bit later. But these 2 starters, or 2 pitchers, would tell you got to stay on the fastball. You got to be able to throw it. You got to be able to hit it. And that's something that Aaron Judge does as well as anybody.
Yeah, there's so many different angles you can go here with Aaron Judge. So many things he does so well. But one thing I want to get back to is kind of that foundation, right? So for me, watching him against plus pitches, right, the fastball, when you look at the numbers against the fastball, it is insane. And there was one game that really stood out to me was against Garrett Crochet. Now, Crochet got him a couple of times early in this game in Boston with that heater at the top of the strike zone, a couple of punches. They're plus pitches, right? So all of a sudden, you get late in this game in the 9th inning, and this is what Aaron Judge does so well. He doesn't get overwhelmed. You can see Garrett Crochet just trying to attack on that hitter. And you see some swing and miss, but slowly but surely doesn't try and catch up to anything. He's just staying with that, get that foot down and that smooth swing. And then what does he do? He gets that hitter, and we've seen this multiple times. It's not just fastballs either, it's plus fastballs, hitting 350 against him. We have to go to Game 3, ALDS against Louis Barlin, who was so dominant. Gets 100 by him. Doesn't change anything. There is not one other person on the planet that can get to that pitch. He goes 100 upstairs, gets the swing and miss, and then he goes up and in. And I'm telling you, no one else on the planet but the MVP of 2025, Aaron Judge, is getting that pitch.
I think the only guy that maybe sneaks into that conversation is Vladdy, based on what he did in the playoffs, his ability to get to the inside pitch. That's something, too. Both guys posted. Judge in the playoffs at 500 with 7 ribbies in 7 games. Cal Raleigh, 304. 5 homers, 8 ribbies, and 12. Now, Peeves, they don't factor that into the MVP discussion, but these 2 guys not only did it in the regular season, but carried it over into October.
You didn't. I'm so happy that the race was tight, because in the postseason, when you watch Cal Raleigh, when the team needed him the most, what did he do? Act like the MVP of his team and of the league. What did Aaron Judge do? And look, for all the Yankee fans, What Aaron Judge is doing in New York, this guy has been booed some over the past 2 MVP seasons. The critique and just what goes around this New York media and being a leader in New York, Aaron Judge does not get the credit. He has done it with grace and delivered in the postseason this year. So can we put that to rest too? Aaron Judge can hit at any point in time.
Yeah, he's just checking off the boxes, man. Like, you look at that, you know, he signs that big deal. It's like, okay, can you live up to that? Can you live up to the fact that now you're the captain, you're the face of this team?
This deal's a bargain.
Right, it really is. But then all of a sudden, you know, the question was, can he perform in the playoffs too? And again, he's starting to show that, especially like this postseason.
We joke that he's a bargain because Vladdy got $500 million. Soto and Ohtani both exceeded $700 million. So Aaron Judge at $360 million takes home his 3rd MVP award. In the National League, shocker. I was stunned by this. Unanimous, Shohei Ohtani. That's how he wins MVP awards. Shohei gets it done. His 4th. That is now 2nd most all-time, 2nd only to Barry Bonds with 7. We'll talk more about him later in the show. But this was one, there was no conversation. There was no discussion. Kyle Schwarber was a feel-good story at different points. Juan Soto had a great first year in Flushing. But in the end, Ohtani, being the unicorn that he is, prevails once again.
My goodness, we're running out of superlatives. I don't know what else there is to say other than this young man is the best athlete I've probably ever laid my eyes on. When you see what he does pitching, and it's something that we did, me and Ryan, understand what that day looks like and how tough it is to succeed at the big league level. And you also spend 50% of your time or more hitting, and you're the best hitter in the league. If he doesn't pitch an inning this year, he's still the MVP of the league. When he didn't have to pitch and was rehabbing from Tommy John last year, he did something in the game offensively we'd never seen in 50-50. Tell you this, we're buddies with Mark DeRosa around here, and he's talking a lot of Team USA. What they have over in Japan right now and sending these guys over here looking the way Ohtani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Imanaga could go on and on. You better look out for Team Japan come March.
That 2nd line right there, 4th unanimous. He's the only guy to ever play this sport with multiple unanimous wins. He's done it now in both the American League and the National League. And something that you guys touched on when we were getting ready for this show is that last year when he won the MVP, he did it while rehabbing the elbow injury.
I couldn't quite comprehend it. You're coming back from a major surgery, especially, you know, TJ, and you're hitting at that level, not to mention the fact that, you know, what did you do last offseason leading into last year? You knew he wasn't going to be on the mound, so what does he do? Gets a sprint coach, and he gets all of a sudden the stolen bags, gets 50+. Then this year comes into it, and you know what, too? Midway through this season, if you remember, when he was sort of slow playing, you know, the pitch and coming back, he had this absolutely dialed in, planned out, being ready to be primed for. We talked about the postseason with some of these players, whether it be Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge. What about some of the performances he put up? But just the fact he can do it on the mound, averaging one of the highest fastballs in the game, the way he did that, and still putting up 50+ home runs. That's unbelievable.
Imagine the separation. I think the separation would be Judge-like. When we talk about offensively, if Shohei Ohtani was only an offensive player, I think he would be as separate as Judge is from the rest of the class offensively, and I think that's same on pitching. If he was to only pitch, I think he would separate himself and just stack up Cy Youngs.
How about the NLCS clincher against the Brewers? 3 home runs, 10 strikeouts, something we'll never see again. Now, we've been doing this show a little bit now. I like putting together these boards. It's just something that I enjoy. This is something that struck me, right? So we now have 3 active guys that have won at least 3 MVPs. Mike Trout, we're going back all the way to 2016. Judge and Ohtani over the last 5 seasons. You look at the numbers, you look at the columns, and the first thing that jumped out to me, look at the disparity in home runs and RBIs for the Yankees captain.
Yeah, how about that? Aaron Judge, man. And again, you go to this, and I said this earlier on, when you are his size, his stature, and you can just have that easy swing and catch that 100 at the top of the strike zone, it's just so easy, especially in today's game, to lean into, you know what, I'm going to be an on-base machine, and I'm going to hit dingers. And he said it again. I love what he said, man. Just pride himself on the fact he's a batting champion to go along with some of those.
Can you imagine being at the general managers meetings right now and knowing you have this guy on your team and nobody else in the league has any kind of production on paper, like you know what you should get in 26? That's who Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are.